Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Catherine, and here I share my love of journaling and planning and stationery. And today I'm going to be doing a long overdue flip through of my May, or not my May, but of the month of May in my journal. This is the Hobinichi cousin. And yeah, let's just dive right in then. So, starting with the monthly page, here I just write down some of the highlights and main accomplishments of the month. So I kind of duplicate information, but here in the little boxes, I'll write down like the highlights and accomplishments on the day that they occurred, and then on the side I have accomplished and highlights where I pull out like the main ones out of all of these. But yeah, it's kind of just duplicating the same information, but I like having it in both places. And then the weekly sections. Okay, so you'll see I did not really keep up with the weekly sections too much, but the first week, only the first 2 days are filled out. Oh, here I actually kept up with it. I could have used a little bit more stickers, but it doesn't matter. Here, I went on vacation and I just didn't fill it out for the entire vacation. Yeah. And that's it for May. So I really only filled it out for 1.5 weeks. And now getting into the daily pages. So on the beginning of every month, I write down my goals. Then the first 2 days I didn't write anything, but it can only go uphill from there. So on the 3rd, I did one of the prompts from TCMC, which is currently, what is your biggest source of stress? And then I just wrote a little bit about work. On the 4th, I did some baking and I made some apple puff pastries and peanut butter cookies, which turned out really well. And then we hung out with some friends, Taylor and Craig, and we went to a restaurant and it was just a really nice time. Oh, and then I should also mention, I use one washi tape per week. So like you'll see this week has all of the same washi tape on the pages. And then Monday is when the next week starts and it changes the washi. Yeah, so Sunday, nothing big went on. I was just journaling about my day, my feelings. And then Monday, I started reading this book, Caraval by Stephanie Gerber, and it's very good. It's a like YA romantasy type of novel. And yeah, I really liked it. It's very magical and dreamy and cute, so would recommend. On Tuesday, nothing much happened. Here I was just complaining about the heat. And then here is what I finished Caraval. Like, I just breezed through this book. And then these are some stickers I got several years ago from AliExpress, and they just match with the theme of Caraval, so I put them here. And here I started reading the second book, and I was going to like journal more about it, but I didn't get around to it. So just more another sticker from the same collection from AliExpress. And then here, oh, my coworkers asked me if I wanted to go out to grab lunch with them, which I totally was not expecting, and I actually wasn't very hungry, but I didn't want to like say no and like pass up the chance to get to know them better because I'm pretty new at this job. So I went with them. We got Ichiran ramen, and it was so delicious, like one of the best ramens I've ever had. So definitely a good experience. On Saturday, I went back to my parents' house. We went and got our eyes checked so that I can get new glasses. And then we just went to Costco. And yeah, it was a pretty normal day. Afterwards, my aunt came over and we just played some card games. And Sunday was Mother's Day, so I made breakfast for everyone, and then my husband came over, and I went to go visit his mom at the cemetery, and then we just went home after that, and watched some Black Clover and Stranger Things too. For Black Clover, I started watching it without Mick because there's like a viral video or like reel of Black Clover's voice actor who's super fine, and so I got curious about the show and I started watching it, and it's actually like, it was really good, and I thought my husband would like it too, so I stopped watching it and told him to catch up because I was only like 7 episodes in or something. But yeah. The next day, it looks like a normal day. Yeah, I was just like doing some random journaling, and then we went to BJ's and I just wrote down literally everything we got there. And here, okay, so I actually didn't journal on Tuesday or Wednesday. So I was having like this, I mean, this might be TMI, but like I was having really weird bowel movements at some point this month, and so I just looked up an article about poop and what it means about your health, and I wrote that down on these 2 pages. So yeah. On Thursday, I finished reading Legendary, and I was a little bit upset about like the big reveals in this book. I didn't like some of the, or like really one of the big reveals that they did in this book. Even though they were like foreshadowing it, I still didn't like that. That is where Stephanie Garber chose to take the series. But overall, I still really like the book. And then I went to dance class, and I was actually like really tired from work, and I just like almost didn't go, but I pushed myself to go, and I had a really good time, so I'm glad I went. And then I went to Miniso during my lunch break just to get some like little lunch boxes and little candies. The next day, I started reading the last book in the trilogy, and I was just journaling about that, and then I tried to start learning crochet, and I said, crochet is so hard. I was having a lot of trouble just like holding the thread, and like, yeah, I was working on the single stitch. It was not going well, but it's okay. First time is always going to suck for anything. And then on the 18th, we went to Edison for dinner, because it's my birthday on the 20th, but that's a Monday, so we just celebrate on the nearest weekend, and I wanted to go to an Asian restaurant. So Edison is the closest place for Asian food for us. And originally we were going to go get xiaolongbao, or like soup dumplings, but the wait for that restaurant was an hour, so we decided to go to a different restaurant, and it was good, but it wasn't what I was craving. And then we finished watching Stranger Things 2. On Sunday, we went and celebrated my birthday with my family. So all of us went bowling in Long Island, and then afterwards we went to this restaurant called Canton Manor, and it was very, very delicious. Didn't do much journaling for my actual birthday. I just did the prompt at on TCMC's website. And then Tuesday I skipped, but Wednesday I just journaled about work. And here, one of my coworkers got me a little gift. It was like a little Hello Kitty figurine, and it was so cute. I totally did not expect anyone at work to get me anything, so I was very grateful and surprised by this. So the next day, on Thursday, I was surprised once again because one of my coworkers took me out for lunch to celebrate my birthday, and we went to this little hole-on-the-spot Mexican place and got really, really good food. And then this part is just about some confusion with my work duties. Then on Friday, we started our road trip. So this road trip went to Washington, D.C., Annapolis, and Baltimore. And we went to Washington, D.C. first. So here on the side, I just wrote down all of the places we went, which is basically most of the memorials we did on the first day. And then we went to Doi Moi for dinner, this Thai restaurant there, and it was so delicious. Like, we weren't staying very long in Washington, D.C., so I didn't want to repeat any restaurants, but if I went back, I would 100% go back to this restaurant because it was just, like, fantastic, and I want to try more things from their menu. And then on Saturday, we met up with some of my coworkers, because I worked for like a national company, so I had some coworkers in Washington, D.C., and it was a really lovely time. We spent basically our entire morning with them, and then we went to see the Library of Congress, and this was like the highlight of the attractions that we saw, so that's why I only wrote about the Library of Congress. And then we got dinner at Ted Bulletin's, and here I wrote down all of the places that we went, so including the restaurants, and yeah. Then Sunday we went to the Smithsonian Zoo, and it was fun, but we were so tired from walking around the previous 2 days and it was also like super hot. So after the zoo, we only spent like maybe 3 hours in there, 2 to 3 hours, and we had to stop at a cafe just to rest because we were so tired and hot. And then afterwards, we went to 2 bookstores that my coworker recommended, and we got a huge pile of books. They were both secondhand bookstores, so the books were relatively cheap, and yeah, I love shopping secondhand books, so that was fun. And finally, we went to Agora for dinner, and it was very pricey. It's definitely like a special occasion type of spot, but it was very delicious. And then Monday we went to Annapolis, and I just wrote about the trip there, and we went to Boatyard for dinner, which is famous for their crab cakes. And I just wrote about the restaurant because it was so good. It looks pricey, but like they give you so much food that it actually, like, you pay for what you get. And it was so substantial. Like, their crab cakes are full of crab. We also got the crab and asparagus dip, and it's also like really substantial and full of crab. And then we got the roast beef panini, and that I like didn't expect it to be so freaking delicious. And like each of their entrees are really big, so if you have a big appetite you'll be fine, but like if you have a smaller appetite it might even fit 2 people. Or like if you're a parent it could probably feed you and your kid. So yeah, would definitely recommend this restaurant in Annapolis. The next day we went to Baltimore, and I just wrote about the trip basically. We kind of walked around, and we walked from where we were staying, like near, I forgot what their place is called. We were staying kind of like near Fells Point, but not in Fells Point, basically. And so we just walked up all the way to Johns Hopkins, and we visited an ice cream store, a cafe, and 2 bookstores. And then at Fells Point we went to the dock, and it was a really nice dock. It was like very peaceful there. And we also went to the Dara, which is a Thai restaurant, and it was very, very delicious, but we ordered a bit too much, so we were struggling to finish. We did not end up finishing the food. And on Wednesday, on our way back from the trip, we stopped in Philly, and we went over to Reading Terminal Market to pick up some food, and then we went over to Franklin Square just to rest a bit before we drove home. On May 30th, I wrote back to reality because I had to get back to work, and it's always hard after a trip to put your mind back into work mode because your brain is on vacation mode. But yeah, I just wrote about unpacking and work, and yeah. And then I started reading The Nightingale's Castle by Sonia Velton. And then on the 31st, I got a baeli at Reading Terminal Market, and on this day I ate it, and it was very, very delicious. I actually want to try making my own baelis when the weather cools down. But yeah, it looks like, based on the instructions I found online, it looks like it's easier to make than bagels, so I'm excited to try. And I wrote potato day because it was kind of a lazy day. I did not do as much as I wanted to get done in terms of work and just like regular life. But yeah. And then we went to Carvel after work and concluded the day with some Carvel soft serve. And it was very tasty. Carvel their soft serve is just like different. It's just like extra creamy, I feel like, compared to other soft serves I had. So yeah. And then to end off, I'll just go to the back where I write down my favorites for every month. Here. So every month I just write down my favorites from the month. So for May, I wrote down Caravel, Julian. I love Julian. He is like just dreamy. Yeah. Anyway, and then I wrote down the Washington DC and Maryland road trip. Oh, I was obsessed with these two songs by New Jeans, Bubblegum and How Sweet. They just came out with them in May, and so I was listening to these on repeat. And then Black Clover, I was really enjoying the show, so that's what I wrote down. And yeah, that is everything for May. Yeah, you can see I am filming this on August 4th. It is August now. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how your May went. And I mean, since it's August now, I guess, let me also know how your August is going, and in general, how your summer has gone. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week with a new video, which will be my overdue June flip through. So bye everyone.